Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I am so sorry about this. Had a little snafu that we had to work out. So we're all here. Thank
Yeah.
goodness. I'm going to get that out of there so I can see you all better. And I'm okay. Um, I guess you all have been chatting for a while.
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
a bit. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, for those of you who are new tonight, I'm Susan Salter. I'm the president of WiVLA, and uh, I think we're going to start out since we need to go ahead and get started. We're going to get started by just welcoming everybody here tonight. We've got some guests that we want to welcome and honor them being here with us tonight. But first, I'm going to have Kathy read our WiVLA mission statement
Right.
for us. Kathy is
Okay.
our secretary, our vice president, former secretary. And
Yeah.
um, I'd like for everybody to get her to know her just a little bit better.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. Um, I'll go ahead and read our mission for everyone. WiVLA's mission is to provide an inspiring forum for women to explore and advance their creative development, to promote their work in the marketplace, and to infuse the community with their spirit of cooperation and invention.
Yes.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Um, I'm going to welcome some guests that we have here tonight. Um, we have Barbara Bockwell here with us tonight. She is a guest of Shirley Beyer. Welcome, Barbara. Can
Thank,
you just wave to everybody and say hello there?
uh,
Can you hear me, Barbara?
thank you for letting me in on the meeting.
Oh, we're
Got you.
we're
In
happy to have you.
the art biz for a long, long time.
Okay. What do you like to do, Barbara?
I do collage.
Collage. Okay. Well, we've got a lot of collage artists here that love to do that too. So you're in good company.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's new in Houston, in Texas.
New to
No,
Houston in Texas. Okay.
no, I,
Well, welcome.
yeah,
Howdy, Barbara.
it's different. And Shirley was kind enough to give me a foot in.
That sounds like Shirley.
Yes, it does. All right.
I don't play golf, so
Okay. Great to have you with us tonight, Barbara. I'm looking for another name. Is Kelly Gallagher here with us? I'm looking for Kelly. I was told
I
that
don't think
maybe
she's
she might
here.
be with us tonight.
I haven't seen her yet.
I haven't seen her yet. So, um, okay. Looking around, and we have two screenfuls tonight. We have a lot of have a lot of people here with us tonight. That's wonderful. Um, and Melissa's not here, so she would know who our new members are.
I've got a list that she shared with me,
Okay.
Susan. Would
Oh,
you
that's
like me to
great.
share that?
Yes, I
I
sure
just
do.
need to be able to share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just send a request. I don't know who that goes to. Okay. Awesome. And let me find it on here. So, and we may have some folks in the room, but this is our new members in the first quarter of this year, which is very exciting.
wow.
And Melissa put them by sort of category of the area in which they
Oh, thank
do their
you.
creative work. Yeah. So very good. We're running a membership campaign right now and encourage you to continue to send out emails and post on your social media about that. It runs through the end of the month and there will be prizes. So, hey,
Yes.
uh, so we're very excited about that. What I'd like is for anybody that is here that's new, if you'd like to raise your hand, we'll do a quick intro. I know Abby, you're on the list. Did you want to say a few words about, what you work on in your creative life and what brought you to WiVLA?
Sure. I'm a mixed media artist. I use gouache and ink. And so I do some drawing and painting together, which is a lot of fun. I went through a long period where I made absolutely no artwork, many, many years. I finally was able to get back to it in 2018, and now I've decided it's time to connect with some other people instead of just doing it in my house and not showing anybody. So,
Oh, yay. Get it out there.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
And we've got Cheryl, I see. Cheryl Russell.
That's me.
Yes.
I'm an abstract expressionist artist, and I'm at Silver Street, right down the road from Deborah and Melody. We're running buddies over there, and that's it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome. And then Bobby.
So, I am returning into the art world after a career in mother and breadwinner and all those good roles. I finally retired and have some time now to get back into the swing of things. And I really enjoy acrylic and mixed media, collage, and watercolor. I'm a member of the Watercolor Society here in Houston, and I'm also a member of the Houston Art Society. And I'm also a member of another group called the Houston Art Tribe. We are students of Louise Fletcher from the Joy of Art. And I'm just enjoying getting back into the swing of things, taking some classes, meeting lots of people, and it was delightful to find all of y'all as well.
Fantastic. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you, Bobby.
Thank you.
Anybody else that's new in the audience? Stop sharing there. Well, we are really excited to have our new members and also the others that have joined us this evening. I do want to point out there's one benefit of being a member is a grant that we give every year. It's actually two grants for $1,000 each, one to an art person and one to a person who's in the writing side of the creative works that we do. And the applications are open now. So if you've been a member for two or more years and you've never received an ECHO grant, you can receive one potentially. We will have a drawing for those in our next meeting, in the April meeting on the 21st. So we'll also have the folks that won last year, that would be Gail Plunkett and Rebecca Chirac, presenting their projects. So that's exciting to see what they were able to do with their grant. So we hope that you can come to the meeting and learn about that. And then also, if you qualify, to please submit an application. And if you have any questions on that, let me know, but I'll drop the link in the chat on where to apply. So thank you.
Yeah, it only takes a few minutes to apply for the grant. It's really easy. And, what have you got to lose by applying? You got everything to win. So if you get picked, if you get chosen, it's a blind drawing that we do. And our former recipients of the grant do the choosing. They pick it out of a hat and literally out of a hat sometimes. So it's always a really fun evening, and we hope that you'll participate in that if you're eligible. I'm going to call on our visual chairs to talk about what's happening in our visual world, WiVLA.
Well, first, I would like to have Denise say something because we had a competition for t-shirts and for the poster or whatever we're going to do, a vinyl, for Wild, which is our upcoming collaboration. And Denise and Gwen have done a lot of work. And Denise put together the competition, ran the competition, and all of that. So thank you, Denise.
And I'm going to ask to share. All right. Everyone see my screen?
Yay!
So here's our winner for our
Oh,
t-shirt and banner for Wild.
I love it.
Suzanne Meeks as Cheetah is the winner. So we're very excited. Now this is just the image, obviously. We're going to be putting together the design for the t-shirt and then the banner. So that's coming next. But we at least wanted to show you the winning image. We had a lot of great entries. I think we had over 20 some odd entries, which was fantastic.
Right.
And so it was the literary co-chairs and the visual co-chairs together voted and selected the winner. So that's pretty exciting.
And who's the artist?
Suzanne Meeks.
Ah,
I don't think Suzanne is on, but congratulations. I will send her a notification as well to let her know that she is going to be showcased on lots of t-shirts and things. So we'll let you know when they are available to purchase, and we can all start wearing them when we go out on outings and everything together.
Oh, that'd be great. That cheetah looks like it means business.
Yeah. Hungry cheetah. All right. Thanks.
So after this meeting, we're going to do a meet and greet. We've had two that were face to face, and this one will be over, of course, Zoom, to try to pair some of the literary and the artists together. We've already had, Melody told me this afternoon, I think 13 paid, and we have 22 spots for the collaborations. The event will be held at Sabine Studios, and we are looking forward to all of these different collaborations. So if you don't have a partner, please stay after the meeting and you can meet your potential partner. We call it a meet and greet. Have I left anything out?
No, I think you've got it, Deborah. All
Thanks.
sounds good.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call on Denise now, who is in one of our literary co-chairs.
I'm back. All right. So everyone can hear me. I always have challenges with my sound.
Yes.
So we have a lot of fun events happening. If you're not aware, April's a big month for writers. It's National Poetry Month. And so we're going to have several celebrations that people can join. One of our celebrations is Poetry by the Bay. And that's an event where we go over to the library in LaPorte and have a reading in the morning on a Saturday. And we hang out together to have lunch, go put our toes in the ocean for a while, walk around downtown. So if you're a poet and would like to read at the event, there is a sign-up sheet if you go to the calendar. It's on April 11th. So look for the calendar date of April 11th. You can sign up to read. And then we'd love to have people who just want to come and listen and hang out with us for that day. So please join either as a reader or as a listener to support us. They do a fabulous job. They have snacks and coffee and tea and just really take care of us really well. And this is all thanks to Gladys. So big shout out to Gladys. Thank you so much for all your work.
Just let everybody know who you are up there.
So I think I'm here.
Yeah, she does the hard work of getting in contact with them and making sure everything's going up forward. So appreciate her support in that.
I have to say, I signed up today, and on Gina's whatever genuine sign, whatever sign up, it's saying 11. And I wanted folks to know that it's 10:30 is when we're starting at 10:30 this year and not 11. It's going to be a little earlier.
Oh,
Because on the sign up it says 11. I just know because I just signed up today.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. On the actual events on the calendar, it does say 10:30, so I think we're
Yes.
good there, but go by the
Okay.
calendar event. We have also on the last day of April to kind of round out the poetry month, we have what we're calling our Poetry Pharmacy Project.
Yeah.
What this is another event for reading. The theme for this reading event, which is April 30th, a Thursday night, a Zoom event, it's going to be the theme of sparkle. So this doesn't have to be poetry, but we would appreciate and the emphasis on poetry because what's going to happen is the poems that are read, we're going to take those poems and we're going to take the full poem or pieces of the poem and we're going to put those in little pharmacy bottles. And then at Christmas, we're going to hand those out as some fun things as gifts for our Christmas party. And if you haven't been to the annual Christmas party, you better start planning to attend now because it's a lot of fun. But anyway, this is Gwen, who is our literary co-chair this year. She had this idea. So again, it's April 30th. It's on the calendar. Sign up for that as well to read your sparkle-based poetry. And it's fun event. You can come. We want everyone to come, whether you're going to read or not. Both events are the same thing. We want to just share our excitement about poetry. Poetry by the Bay event is not themed, so you can read anything that you like, but the Sparkle Poetry event, please, something around sparkle would be good. I want to mention our WiVLA's The Wondrous Readers. We have a book club. We meet generally the last Saturday of the month, except during the sort of the holiday season. That's on the calendar. We're reading The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich this month, and we'll be meeting on March 28th. We generally meet at Coco's on 34th Street in the afternoon. So you don't have to have read the book. You can, or have finished the book. Just come join us. We hang out. That's from 2 to 4 on March 28th. And on April, we're actually doing Gwen's new book. Gwen's released a new book called The Last Labyrinth. So please grab a copy now so that you can come and hang out with us. Get Gwen to sign your book. We have the author there to talk to us about her book and her inspirations and answer questions. And Gwen is, again, the instigator for the book club and has really been helping us lead that and help us have discussions. It's been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed that. So event on March 28th, and then again on April 25th is Gwen's book. And then there's more stuff on the calendar. I've said enough. April's packed full of good, yummy stuff. I'd love to see you guys at any of those events. Thanks.
Susan,
You're
you're
on mute,
muted.
Susan.
Oopsies. Somebody was ringing my doorbell, so I decided to mute myself. Uh, yeah, thank you so much, Denise. Lots of good things going on. I'm going to ask Alyssa to tell us what's coming up with programs.
I also have a note to pass along from Rebecca Chirac, who is our newsletter person at the moment. She wanted me to make sure and let everyone know to get your accomplishments, your good news to her by the 20th of this month for the April newsletter. And you can send any items to newsletter@wivla.com. I'm sorry, wivla.org. Oh, goodness. Newsletter@wivla.org. And per usual, I will send everyone to the WiVLA calendar to see all the good stuff that's on there. Our next member meeting is the Eco Fund Excitement. That's always a really fun meeting. And I do want to take a moment to let folks know that we have a fresh listing on the calendar for a WiVLA weekend retreat that'll be happening in September 11th through the 13th. We are really excited about the lineup, about the location. I think it's going to be a really fun weekend. So that listing is up on the calendar for those that are interested. Also of note, we have two $100 scholarships available for that retreat. Because it's a weekend retreat, it's a little more expensive than the typical thing that WiVLA offers. And so we have two $100 scholarships available. The form to fill out for the scholarship is on the calendar listing on the calendar. And I believe at our June member meeting, we will do a random draw of two names from everyone that applies, and those two folks will receive a $100 discount on registration. And if you have any questions about that, you feel free to give us a holler at info@wivla.org. And that's it for me tonight.
Okay. And there's a limited number of people, right?
Spaces for the retreat are limited. We can accommodate up to 15 folks, and that includes the people that are presenting. And so spaces are limited. Check your calendars.
Sign up right away. That sounds like what to do. Okay, great. Well, I think I'm just going to have to turn it back over to Alyssa now, unless there's any other board member announcements that I'm missing. I don't think so. But I'm going to turn it back over to Alyssa to introduce our speaker for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce Sarah Fisher. I think she knows a couple of faces in the room, which is always comforting. I know it was for me when I presented. And I had the pleasure of working with Sarah here at the Jung Center Gallery a few years ago. She was a member of the G5 Collective, and they had a show here. And one of her pieces in that show inspired a public art piece that she did that was in front of the Jung Center for a year. She is multi-talented. Let me say that again. Multi-talented. She's done work in literary arts. She's done work in visual arts. She's done work creating and running a arts-based, not arts-based, but a nonprofit. She just does all the things. There is no sort of artistic endeavor that does not find a way to intrigue her. She put together a short film fairly recently and is working on a play. In addition to all the visual art and work that she does, usually around portraiture. And having developed a friendship with Sarah, I happen to know all the work that she's doing around protest art, primarily in this moment. But as it turns out, she has a long, rich history of protest art that has taken a lot of different forms. So without further ado, I will turn things over to Sarah. She'll be sharing her screen. You'll see some of the things I mentioned, and then I'm going to spotlight her so she stays on our screen.
Okay, here we go. Oops, hold on, preview. Okay, this is my first time doing this, so.
I told her that she'd be in warm, patient, happy company. So welcome, Sarah. You can do it.
Thank you, Alyssa. You're wonderful. I've had the distinct pleasure of getting to know Alyssa, as she mentioned, through having the honor of presenting my work at the Jung Center. And we've become friends, and it's Alyssa's talk about a talented, multi-talented person. Yes, anyway, so thank you, Alyssa, and thank you, WiVLA, for this wonderful invitation. I've been very excited about this. I've been tweaking this presentation for days because I realized that protest is really it's really central to the work that I've been doing for a long time. But I was thinking about it today, and if we're honest with ourselves, each of us has been protesting since before we were born. Our mothers knew that we were okay if we were kicking. And when we were born, the doctors, the nurses, and we knew, or the people who were present for our delivery knew we were okay if we were screaming. So I thought that's very interesting. From our very first breaths, that was really our first protest as human beings. So we were born protesters. And I would suggest that each of us was born an artist with our own unique and special way of drawing, speaking, the way we said our first words, the way we made our first marks. We were born protesters and we were born artists. And so I'm excited to talk about the power of protest today. And I also want to share the story behind the title. Speak Up However You Can, We Can Work on Your Technique comes from the coaching that I did with our two now grown kids. I wanted our boys to grow up to have the confidence to speak up in tough situations. It's also something that I say to myself if I'm in a tough spot. I just tell myself, just do the best you can. You can always do better next time. So I'm excited to share with you some of the protest work that I've done. And I also welcome your questions and hope we have a good discussion at the end. So why make art? I've been making art since I was a very little girl. But this portrait here, this pencil drawing, I made in 1979. I was a freshman in high school. And I think it was really my first piece of protest art in the visual sense. I chose to draw a photograph of me. I think I was 4 years old. And just that look, that intense gaze, the fact that intrigued me at the age of 14, 15, and you see the etched acrylic piece to the right, that is an etching I did of myself at the age when I drew the portrait. You can see my work has evolved. This is a protest painting that I made in 2016 to depict how I was feeling while going through menopause. This is one of the first pieces I made using dry cleaning stain stickers. I made this piece, self-portrait, in 2018. This is a show that was up in 2024 at Hardy and Nance Studios called It's All About Separation. The great majority of the work in this show was protest art. This is a bumper sticker that I created when I was the CEO of an organization, a nonprofit that I co-founded called Positive Works. And we worked on getting ahead of bullying in schools. So I'm a graphic designer as well. And this is the play that I will speak to you about a little bit later. So my protest work, it's just taken so many forms. And I say, why make art? Why be invisible? We who have this gift of being artists, I think it's important that we use it. I think particularly since we're in a group of women, and so I'm 61, so I'm getting older. And, the challenge of remaining visible is very real. I think we can certainly all agree with that. I think art, at any age, but at this age, gives us a way to stay visible in the world. And it's more important now than ever. This is a portrait that was taken in my studio, and I'm holding up the maquette of the public artwork, the idea I had for the Young Center public artwork that I presented to Alyssa. And then these were different iterations of that series. And this is a shot of it installed. on the lawn of the Young Center, which is one of the biggest thrills of my life, to present a public artwork. And this is an artwork that became a painting when it became a performance piece. And I used it in a way, it became a protest piece because I was responding to things in the world and in my own life and changing the look of the piece throughout the year. This is a piece I made from a discarded piece of plastic in my neighbor's garage, part of a series that I call Mothering Myself. And it is a double portrait, double self-portrait. It is me holding myself as a baby. So my artist statement has been for many years that I record the human need to be authentically seen. And I create portraits, 2- and 3-dimensional portraits of myself and people I know, love, and encounter. Like this gentleman who I saw, I was driving home from my studio, and I saw this amazing, elegant older man standing at a bus stop like this with his cane, beautifully dressed. And it was 2017, and I thought, oh God, you want to ask him, you can't do it. But I did. I pulled over. It's the only time I've ever done it. I asked a complete stranger if I could take his picture and paint him. And it became I didn't paint it till years later. And I never got the chance to ask him his name because I took his photo and then he hopped on the bus and I never got to know his name. But it felt good to still have him be seen. Self-portrait during a very challenging time in 2017. The piece on the mannequin is a collaboration with an artist in Lubbock named Rachel Anderson. This was at Texas Tech, and you can see I've done a very large series called Carry, where I print on used grocery and shopping bags. For me, being an artist, it's a gift. I imagine you all feel the same. And I feel because this is a gift that we are given, it's a real privilege to be an artist. But at times, I also find it to be a burden. I remember when I was working on Positive Works and working on the bullying issue, saying to my friend, why do we have the special glasses? Why do we? Because it was not everyone saw the bullying issue the way we did. So I remember saying, I feel like I have these special glasses and I can't take them off. So I think, we're sensitive people as artists, and sometimes we see things that it's very uncomfortable. But I think that's where protest art for me has been a gift, because it gives me a way to process that burden in a different way. And I also feel with this gift, it's a real responsibility. I think. And I am very lucky. I've been given the gift. I've been able to write well since I was a little girl. I have the gift of visual art. And so I just feel strongly, and I probably put a little bit of pressure on myself. What can I do to help make things better? How can I use the talent I've been given to make the world just a little bit better place? This is a recent photo of me at a protest for an amazing group called FIEL, F-I-E-L. I've come to know recently it's the largest immigration advocacy nonprofit in the state. I had been on a national call for the Indivisible group the night before this protest, and it was the week of Nicole Good's murder in Minneapolis, very distressing. And this group was calling for kind of spontaneous protests that weekend, and they suggested the theme for the weekend would be Ice Out for Good. So after the call, this is how it works for me. I just went to the kitchen table. I found a beautiful photo of Renee Good that was widely circulated, and I just drew her portrait. And sometime that night or the next day, I had been following this group on social media, and I was aware of them, and I saw that they were having a protest that night. It was going to be across the Dunleavy Bridge. And I thought, well, I mean, I had never been to any of their events, but I thought, well, I'm just going to go. So I took my drawing, and it turned out that it was this drawing was photographed several times over that weekend. So why protest? As I said, for me, it just helps me process what I'm feeling and going through. This is a tote bag that I printed. The character I call her Sky Woman. So this is Sky Woman, processing the idea of living, doing things out of guilt or obligation. I decided, this was a personal protest, in 2016, at the beginning of the year, I declared that I would do nothing that year out of guilt or obligation. And here we are 10 years later, and I have stuck to it. I call it my no-go philosophy. Highly recommend. Nothing out of guilt or obligation. And I made this bag. It's a line of cut, and then I hand lettered it with a Sharpie. And yeah, it's the first time I've actually made a piece of art out of that, but I thought it was very successful. And clearly something was going on that day when I felt I needed to turn it into a bag. And why protest? Why stay silent? We were given eyes to see, mouths to speak, and scream and sing. So I say let's use them. Often I use my easel. This is a painting I made initially in 2015, and it was at a time when Pope Francis was coming to the United States. I was raised in the Catholic Church, have a lot of strong feelings about it, and the bishops, as I recall, the bishops had taken the child sex abuse issue off the agenda, and I was livid. And so this was a painting about that in 2015. Flash forward to 2020, it was in the beginning days of the pandemic, and I was really thinking about all the medical workers who were putting themselves at risk. And something about this painting, it resonated with me, and so I decided to kind of bring it forward into a new cause, and I found this color that I felt was close to the medical scrubs green. So why do I make protest art? I do it to record the times I'm living through and to process those times with my art. Again, that's why, I made this at this time. I was going through it. That was a very rough year for me, which I'll talk about later. The year 14 turning 15 was a very traumatic time. So I wonder, looking back, is that why I chose to draw myself with that serious gaze? I also record the times I'm living in. It was a small newspaper ad that I hand lettered. It was a public service announcement back in the late 80s. Back then I was a one-woman ad agency in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was on the I was in the advertising club of Cincinnati, and so I created this ad to represent the views of that organization. And that was, a very compelling, upsetting issue at the time, but this was a way to do something positive. We were very fortunate not to flood during Hurricane Harvey. And the night that the GRB shelter closed, and Ed Emmett went on TV that night on the news, and they announced the opening of another shelter at the NRG. And I was there first thing in the morning with several thousand people to help. And I was lucky to get in and get a shift. And when our shift was over, I looked around and I thought, my God, this is why I love the city. The beautiful diversity of this city, and just the group of people that came together on the spur of the moment to help their neighbors. I thought it was incredible. And so I was able to get to our leader and say, do you think I could get a photo? I'd love to paint this group. And so I quickly got this amazing shot, spent 5 months painting it. It's life size, and it's 10 by 16 feet. And I was very fortunate that it traveled around the city It started at Intercontinental Airport and traveled 5 other places, and is now in permanent loan at the Houston Food Bank. So if you happen to be out there, you can go. It's in the main hall where the volunteers go and work. So that's very exciting. It's also, why protest? It's cheaper than therapy. I mean, it helps me a lot. It's also our right as Americans. So cheaper than therapy, but hey, I mean, it's our First Amendment right to do this, and peacefully, of course, is very important. I believe that art, when it becomes action, can be a very positive way to process and confront our personal trauma, but also our collective trauma. I think we saw that with Hurricane Harvey. That's why it helped people to go out, and that's why the shelters were overwhelmed. I mean, it was hard to find a place to volunteer, actually. They had too many volunteers, which says a lot about Houston, our fabulous city. So I think protest art and just art in general serves a wonderful function in processing trauma. This is a great example for me personally. I took this on my phone right before the opening of my solo show at the fabulous Lanicia A. Rouse Gallery at the Holy Family Episcopal Church, which is out on Navigation in the East End. Incredible art gallery. That's the first thing you encounter when you go into this very special Episcopal church. And I was given a solo show there. It was an amazing experience. And so I'm posing in front of the kind of nerve center of that show. And this animal mural is very important to me. This is the second time I showed these animals. And it's even hard to talk about. What that mural represents to me is it's a filter that I've been able to put over a very traumatic memory. And this goes back to when I was 14, turning 15, something horrible that happened to me and very nearly happened to me. I was able to get away. But through art, I found a way to kind of look at that differently when these traumatic memories T-bone me and sideswipe me. And so the title of this show is It's Okay to Feel This, which refers to, that's a meditation mantra that I learned from Joseph Goldstein. Art can provoke important conversation. In fact, I would say when people ask me what's my motivation for making art, I think for all of my art, it's to provoke new and fresh conversation. And it can do that in the moment. It can also do that over time. And I want to give a shout out to Guernica, Pablo Picasso's incredible anti-war painting made in 1937. And I've been looking back and learning some things, reminding myself some things about Guernica, which is, some people feel, is the most powerful anti-war painting in history. He was commissioned to make a painting for the Paris Expo in 1937. And while I guess he had artist block, and then one day he saw the photos in the paper of when the Germans, bombed the tiny Spanish village of Guernica unprovoked. And he got to work and made this painting in 3 weeks, I believe. Yes, 3 weeks. It was 11 by 26 feet. And when it was presented, it was thought to be too avant-garde at the time. People didn't think much of it. But then it ended up traveling the world to help raise money for the Spanish, for the resistance against Franco. And I've also learned that it was used to protest the Vietnam War. When Colin Powell went to the UN in 2003 to sell the idea of the war with Iraq, they had a tapestry of Guernica up behind the presenting podium, and the United States, I guess, requested that it be covered up. So that's incredible.
Let's see.
So and think about that. This painting was made in 1937. So the power of protest art is profound. It's profound. And I think it's important that we all remember that. back to the graphic design and copywriting skills that I've honed over the years. Um, when I became aware of Project 2025 in late 2023, early 2024, I was shocked. I mean, I was shocked. And I read the foreword and I just started really paying attention. It's contained in this document that had been announced by the Heritage Foundation in April of 2023. And it was incredible how few people knew about it. You know, really smart people just had no idea. And I was very disturbed and worried about it. And so I came up with this line. I don't know, it came to me and I typeset it and I started posting it on my social media, again, to provoke conversation. And then summer of 2024, some things happened in the news with regard to Project 2025, and I was really getting stirred up about it, and I wanted to do something more with it, and then I came up with an idea for, and I was able to collaborate with an incredible local filmmaker. His name is Chap Edmondson, and I wrote I I wrote the original script. Chap added a lot to it. It's the first time I've ever done that. I also performed in the film. This was the screening. We had one screening in late October. And the idea behind the film was I had discovered some really terrifying wire masks that were 100 years old. And I'm going to show you. Look at this. This is the mask I wore in the film. Really scary. These are from the 1920s, made by hand, sold by catalog to secret societies around the country, and they were used for initiation rituals. So imagine you're going to be initiated into whatever group, and you go in and you have no idea who's doing these things to you. So I was fascinated by the 100-year loop of the 1920s to the 2020s. And so the simple original idea was, and the way I pitched the idea to Chap was I recorded myself wearing the mask, reading the foreword of Project 2025. Very simple idea. It was very creepy, but it was simple. But it was interesting visual device to use because a lot of the more research I did, immigration was a huge issue in the 1920s. There were all kinds of parallels. So anyway, so we screened this film, and at the screening, I was pretty sure I was going to get a certain question from the audience because I had got it from a couple people as we were sharing the film. And so when this question inevitably came, I just went over. I had brought a mirror and I just held the mirror in front for like 10 long seconds. And I just said, "This film is a mirror." And I share that with you because I think protest art is a mirror. I think what we're doing by whatever art form we're using, whether it's even, whether it's chanting at a march or singing, writing a protest song, whatever it is, we are reflecting what we're seeing in society and trying to get people to think about it in a different way. Protest art marks time, which I think is very important. In fact, that was one of the reasons Chap said yes to doing this project. He was engaged in, I had no idea. He was working on an autobiographical short film that went on to win all kinds of awards last year, and he took a detour to help me with this project. But he said, "I want to do this because I want to mark the time," and I'll never forget that. Speaking of marking time, and speaking of doing things for the first time, I have written a play, and I've never done that before. But I took one class on Tennessee Williams in college, and it really changed my life. It got into me. And last spring, I received an unwanted text, and I'm sorry, this is sad, saying this to a group of women and probably several mothers. I'm a mother myself, that it was, I had blocked my mother every which way from Sunday because we are estranged. We do not have a good relationship, and she managed to get through this block. And we ended up having a very intense text conversation. So it was unwanted, but I did engage. And so this play is called Two People with the Little Carrot, because that, if you have an iPhone and you have a text conversation that you do not name with, well, she was blocked, so she wasn't in my contact list. But if you just look at your phone, and you will see every once in a while, your phone will title a text conversation Two People or Three People. So that's where the title comes from. And this play is centered on the actual unwanted text conversation between me and my mother. And when I bring this up in regards to marking time, because we have, while we have a lot in common, she is also she's a very talented artist. We have opposing political views, strongly opposing political views, and different views in terms of our family history, et cetera, et cetera. So when I was engaged in this conversation with her, deep into it, it suddenly occurred to me, I kind of hovered over this conversation and I thought, I think maybe this could be a play. I mean, this is like dropping down and taking a core sample out of American family life, mother-daughter relationships, family life. We covered politics, religion, all the things. I mean, it's a weird thing to kind of realize, but I did it. So that's the play is centered on that. We've had our first table read with professional actors, and I've done some revisions, and we will be bringing this to the stage somehow in the coming months. So stay tuned. Protest art asks questions, tough questions. This is a current protest effort that I am engaged in. And I can't tell you how I came up with this idea, but again, I was raised in the Catholic Church. I have 16 years of Catholic education, including, here's the hat I wear when I go out and do this. I went to Notre Dame. And, you know, I took the Catholic social teaching that you know, that I marinated in all those years. I took it very seriously. And while I no longer go to church, and I haven't gone, remember, no go, haven't gone. I not going out of guilt or obligation because I don't know. But you know, the Catholic Church, you never really leave, probably any church that you've been brought into as a baby. It occurred to me several months ago that the Catholic Church has amassed an incredible amount of power also. It also occurred to me that we have this, you know, the new Pope is American, fascinating, and it's really speaking out beautifully, I feel, on what he calls the dehumanization of immigrants and the marginalization of the poor. And now also you add his comments about going to war. So I was curious to see if the Pope's messaging was being amplified at the grassroots level. So what I decided to do was start going back to church. So I chose a parish and I went to Mass. And what I'm doing is basically I'm observing Mass, and I'm looking to see if the Pope's messaging is being amplified in that particular parish by the presiding priests. If I hear nothing in the homily, the petitions, I've looked at their social media, I read their bulletin, then I stay after Mass and I have a conversation with the priest, and I tell them my spiel, and I just ask them why. Why, if this is a patriarchy, why? It seems to me I should be able to go to any Catholic church in the world and hear the Pope's messaging, you know, echoed at Sunday or daily Mass. And if I don't get an answer that makes sense to me, I just simply say, what are we doing here? Are we doing Jesus or are we doing politics? So I also asked, the other question that I ask is, are these fair and good questions? No one has said no. So I've been to 6 parishes. I mean, I should explain this image. So I was doing this and I'm reporting on social media. And a good friend of mine who has a PhD in art and religion called me one night and he said, "Do you know about Saint Hildegard?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, you need to look her up. She was a rogue Benedictine abbess in the 12th century, and she was a doctor. She was canonized by Pope Benedict in 2012, and she was named a doctor of the church." And he was not suggesting that I'm a saint, believe me, but he was saying the kind of questions you're asking reminded him of the work that Saint Hildegard did because she made a lot of good trouble back in the 12th century. She spoke up to the popes. She spoke up apparently to emperors. And I mean, I'm at the grassroots level so far. So anyway, I thought, wow, that's fascinating. I did some more research. And so my project is called Hildegard's List. And you can check it out at hildegardslist.com. So if you think about protest art, traditionally, it happens in advertising. I was a one-woman ad agency in my 20s, and I engaged in public service announcements. I was a big fan of the ad council campaigns in the 70s and 80s. There's PR, people write positions papers, op-eds. I've had 2 op-eds published in the Houston Chronicle, I'm proud to say. Individually, traditionally, people march with, make your handmade signs, grassroots level, bumper stickers. You see the big wheat pastes, in the big cities. And then, of course, there are all different ways that we engage in protest art in the contemporary arts, printmaking, painting, all the things that I've described. Starting a nonprofit, I think, is an act of protest. This is my friend Trish, and we were very fortunate because we were communications professionals. We knew how to get press coverage, and we had a fantastic feature story written by Lisa Falkenberg, who's since won a Pulitzer Prize. But this is, I think, a traditional way to protest. For us, it was what was going on in schools, and we were advocating. We actually worked with adults in 16 school communities, and we were helping each other to learn how to speak up in a positive way with the understanding that the children were learning from the adults in the school communities. So there are the traditional means, which are still around, but now I think about if we were doing positive works now, we'd probably have a podcast, which would probably be on YouTube. We'd probably have a Substack. And social media, I think, is a powerful way for all of us to engage in protest in our just everyday interactions with each other and with the public. And it's as public as you want to make it. And I say use it. Again, it's our right. So in terms of if you've never created protest art before and you're trying to think about how you might want to get started, here are just some questions you might consider. What cause or issue fires you up? I've had many different issues during the years. And what is your motivation for making the protest art? Why do you want to do it? Why is it important to you? What are your objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? What medium best serves you to most effectively communicate what you want to say? And maybe it's something you want to learn to do. I've gotten more engaged in printmaking. I didn't know much about it. I didn't go to art school, by the way. But I took a class at Art League of printmaking, and that's done a lot for my protest art practice. And also, it's protest art, so you have to think about your risk tolerance, I'm not afraid to go out and march and go to protests. I'm not afraid to put a sign in my yard or wear a t-shirt that says something interesting or a button. But everybody's different, and it's okay. I mean, whatever your risk tolerance is, it's perfectly fine. But if you're here to hear this presentation, maybe you're thinking about engaging in this for the first time. And my mantra for me is it's okay to feel this, because protest is about feelings. It's about passion. It's about sometimes fear, rage. I mean, whatever it is, I think it's important for us to say it's okay to feel what we're feeling, and it's okay to say it. And I think to have the most effective protest art, honesty is always the best policy, because people are going to pick up, clear messaging is usually honest messaging. And I think simple is powerful and good. And be bold. Here's an example. Here's a bag I made. I think it's an HEB bag, used grocery bag that I, did a little erasure work on their messaging. So I think this is a good example of, I don't really have to tell you what I'm protesting. This could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I think the fact that it's simple and it's bold makes it effective. And I thought I would share my rules for the art road, which really are rules for the protest art road. What I tell myself, because I do get a lot of crazy ideas, a lot. So what I say to myself is, okay, that's really crazy, but you have to make it. The crazier it is, the more I make myself make it. And I can just put it over there, but I have to at least write it down. I have to at least do a rough draft, and I don't have to show it to anyone. I don't have to show it to a single human person, but I do make myself make it. Then I think about it and I think, okay, well, maybe I do want to share this. Sometimes I show it to my husband. A lot of times I have a special art friend I've known for quite a few years, and he's usually my first friend who gets to see my craziest ideas. So you can choose. You can choose. However, once you put it online, march with it in your hands, put a sign in your yard, a bumper sticker on your car, a t-shirt on your body, or present it, it's out in the world. So it is important, obviously, to think about sharing. And it is nerve-wracking. I mean, I get nervous too sharing things sometimes, but it's also exciting. It's all the things. So here's this drawing that I made, as a result of listening to the Indivisible leaders, which then was shown at the Fiel, in a photograph taken at the Fiel protest. And then I took it the next day down to Houston City Hall, and then it showed up again. And then it was also shown, Chris Tomlinson wrote a piece, and it was a different photo by, I guess the same Chronicle photographer. But anyway, you never know where these images are going to end up. Here I am. This was a protest at a, oops, sorry. Oh, go away. I believe this was after Uvalde. I was very, very concerned as a mother and a citizen. And I'm holding a sign I made after the Parkland High School shooting back in 2018, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. That school was named for her. And here's an example of where I was wearing my protest. So I just painted on a faded black dress, and the back of the dress actually said, "On hardened hearts." So, and this was just a stranger. I didn't know her, but somebody wanted to take our picture. And so I handed my phone to somebody. And this, now we're back to the Young Center piece. And this was toward the end of the year, it was winding down. And I was going to change this piece from very dark paint to, I was going to blank it all out and end on a radiant note. And I was driving over to the Young Center, and I thought, I really want to write some text on there. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I just kind of showed up. And then the first thing I thought was to write the words, "Let her speak." And the reason that came to mind is because that was I'm doing Jungian analysis now, actually, as a result of working with the Young Center. And it was something that this wonderful analyst said to me in our very first session. When I said to him, I really feel my 14, 15-year-old wants to speak up. And he just looked at me and he said, "Let her speak." And I mean, that really changed. I'll just never forget it. And I went home that day and I wrote this poem. Since I'm among poets, I thought I'd read you this poem called Let Her Speak, which ended up in a show curated by the wonderful Doug Welsh at the Blaffer Art Museum. It was up all last summer, and the title of the show was How We Mend. And I was invited as a writer for the first time, which was very special. And it turned out that this was my submission. So this is the poem, Let Her Speak. Because she was young and raw and fresh, because she tore up that hill and fast, let her speak. Because she was raised to trust no one, because she dared to diss and not obey, because that got her nil then nor today, let her speak. Because she bent her dread in half, 2 lives came and grew and fled. Dearly beloved, fiercely led, let her speak. Because she was fast and ripped and quick, they call it explosiveness now, I think. Because she ran, because now she can, let her speak. Because she has kept her power and her powder dry. Because this can't be how it ends. Because this here is how she mends. Now, right now, she speaks. And that poem came as a process of self-compassion and self-love. And I just was part of a very special show with 2 dear friends of mine, Doug Welsh again and Shang-Yi Hua. And it was a show we called All Kinds of Love. And we gave artist talks. And my artist talk was about the fact that protest art is love. Because for me, I wouldn't bother protesting if it wasn't about something that I love and cared deeply about. So that's, and that includes my country. I love my country. So a lot of work I do is about democracy. And, I know everybody comes at this from different angles, probably including people here tonight. But I think, we all love our country in different ways. And so that's where my protest work comes from in that regard. And so that wraps up the creative part of this talk. But I thought this is the history of my career. I was fortunate to go to the University of Notre Dame, and then I went to work in advertising in Chicago on the account management side. Actually, I was a suit. But eventually, I got into the creative work that I really loved. And when I was 27, I started my own one-woman shop, Sarah Fisher Marketing. And then I moved to Singapore with my husband for his job, but I also worked there because I demanded to get a work permit, which I did get. But 3 years later, left with an 8-month-old. I was the woman never having children, changed my mind, 32. So I decided to stay home. We had 2 children. They're now grown and flown. We moved a lot of times, but I started painting actually in 2007. I was 42, I think. But then I dropped my paints and I co-founded Positive Works with my friend, and I did that full time, did not paint for 5 straight years. Picked it up again in 2015, and then we wound Positive Works down. And then while I was in the block program, actually at Glassell, I was very lucky, I guess, to be discovered by Arturo Palacios, who owned Art Palace, which is sadly no longer with us, but he shocked me and gave me my first solo portrait show in January of 2017. And I've been very, very lucky to show my work all over the state of Texas ever since. Speaking of community and protests, I want to give a shout out I've been invited into this wonderful group of artists and arts professionals called Arts Take Action Houston. And we've been meeting, and we are putting on a free artist-led protest sign workshop. And it's going to be at Art League Houston. You're all invited. Bring your friends. We've created quite a few different pieces of creative as signs. So people can come and they can color on our signs. They can come, you can come and make your own signs. I'll have the button maker. It's just going to be a lot of fun. It's a way to get together with people. And if you've never been to a protest and you don't know what to do, it's just a great way. It's No King's Eve. So it's the night before the No Kings. So Alyssa, I think, has added it to your calendar with the registration. We're trying to get an idea for how many people are coming. And you can also bring a t-shirt because there'll be some really cool silkscreen designs. So you can just get a t-shirt made right there that night. And I cannot claim this fabulous work. It's Alberto Carrega, I think. Anyway, but there's some very talented people involved. I'm very lucky to be part of this group. So please come. And if you want to look at more of my work online, sarahfisherart.com. If you'd like to be on my email list and hear about, for example, when the play is coming, I do have a solo show coming up with Foltz Fine Art next fall and with their new window programming. So I do have some things coming up. And if you'd like to get the occasional email, I'd love for you to join my list. Thank you. This is me on Ash Wednesday. And I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I put a link to the WiVLA calendar listing for the protest art workshop in the chat. So the link is directly there, but it's also up on the WiVLA calendar. It's got the info to reserve your spot or let people know you're coming. And we had a couple of folks that did not get a good visual of the creepy mask from the Project 2025.
Oh.
So if you don't mind.
Do you want me to put it on?
Well, I mean, whatever you'd like.
See?
It is spectacular to see it on your face and see how disorienting that is.
Very.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Hand painted and handmade. And can you imagine sold by catalog?
Unbelievable.
Well, there's a whole story to this that's not very positive, but it's interesting.
And
happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, if anybody has questions, just unmute yourself and fire away.
Alyssa, can we return to the screen where we can see everybody?
Or should I stop share?
Yeah, go. Please do, and thank you.
Bingo. There we go. Okay.
All right. There's everybody again.
I just want to commend you, Sarah, for all that you've been doing and have done. It's very inspirational. I follow you on Instagram, and of course we know each other in person, but it's just fabulous. And it makes me feel less afraid, I guess.
Oh, good. That makes me happy. Good. Thank you.
I don't have a question either, but I will tell you, I just joined WiVLA today to see this because I have been doing activism work since I was 8. And so this subject really interested me. So I just want to thank you. I think you're amazing, and I really appreciate what you said tonight.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
I'm Gladys May Bullock, and I wanted to say that I rarely say things, but it's good to know that I don't see you having fear of being able to express yourself, and it allows me, and I hope to not let fear, because that's something that I've always battled, was fear of doing and fear of that rejection. And you seem to just be fearless when it comes to it, to be able to put it out in writing and even art, even your art, even what you're wearing, that's a strong conviction. So very strong. And so I commend you on that. And I thank you for your presentation tonight.
Thank you. And can I be honest and tell you, whenever I go, when I'm fortunate to have an exhibition, and I can't imagine when this play goes on, I am drinking chamomile tea all the way to the thing. And sometimes just absolutely, I can think of twice where I've driven to openings and have been absolutely in tears. So yes. First time I showed that animal wall in Lufkin at the Museum of East Texas, I drove and I cried the whole way because it was so intensely personal. And I mean, nobody knew. I wasn't going to tell people what it was about, but it was a big deal for me. So thank you. I appreciate that and I guess yes, I am brave. I can tell good for you. I am, but I do suffer.
Well, and so there was
I do it. I guess I do it anyway. I do it.
Along those lines, there was a question in the chat from Liz Plaster asking if you've ever been threatened.
Not yet. Stay tuned. I don't know.
I have.
Who?
Right here.
Very.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Well, I have to tell you, I've thought about that, and I'll be honest with this. Here's how I feel about it. I'm 61 years old. I my kids are raised, and I have communication skills. If I ever, I can, I can handle it. I think.
I'm 85, and I wasn't threatened until I moved into a independent living situation. And I felt very threatened. And, but I, I just, I befriend.
Sometimes killing them with kindness works. Not always,
Not always.
but sometimes.
Carefully.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sarah, I just wanted to say I really appreciated kind of the naturalness and unfolding of your presentation for us. And I was really struck by how you let yourself kind of almost tumble from one idea into another project. It felt like it gave us all permission to be like a little bit more open to just whatever presents itself, that you didn't go into this with an idea like, oh, I have to master this form and then I'm going to do that and then I'm going to do that. But instead you just kind of found what was in front of you and responded to it. So I think that's really cool. That was really a unique part of your presentation. So thank you.
Thank you. And you're right. I mean, that mirrors the way I operate in the world. Alyssa has seen this. I thank you. You get me. Mary. I
aspire to be like that.
I do stay very open.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm very blessed to have a certain skills, but I mean, I'm open. I guess I'm not afraid to try something new just because I haven't written a play. I just started reading plays. When I got the idea, I thought, well, I can write. I'm just going to start reading plays. And then I just learned, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love the way
we can do these things. We can do new things.
I love the way you practice courage. It's really inspiring. I run a small literary and visual arts journal, and we just published an issue on Sunday on Audacity.
Yes.
And you exemplify that very well. Yeah, Kathy Crawford, Denise Bossart, Sandy Stromberg, and Jamie Frontiera from WiVLA. They're all in there. And what I was amazed by was that the folks who got that Audacity, a lot of folks were kind of like, I don't know what to write. But the folks who got it really got it. Like if you bite into really doing this thing, you do it. And it was really exciting. It was mostly women. There were a few really courageous guys, but mostly women. So inspiring.
Thank you. More important than ever now.
Yes.
Absolutely. Courage.
Yes.
Do it. We're doing it. Thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you.
That's great. I love that was your theme. I think it's a great word.
It is a great word.
It is. Totally. Yes.
That's good.
I just wanted to say that as someone who's new to the group and who's been contemplating just wanting to get her art out there because I've never done it before. I always dreamed of a career in as a professional artist, and it never got there. And I've honestly been a little too afraid to even try. Like feeling like I don't know how to begin. So just seeing you talk about just doing these things, that's inspiring. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I put the thought in the chat that I felt that menopause painting in my bones. I've been
I'm
going
so
through it for
sorry.
8 years. It's killing me.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Weirdest thing that's ever happened to my
It gets
body.
better when you're over it.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I didn't believe it. I called the woman a liar who told me that, but she was right.
I just
Hey,
want to throw out
did
too
you
that
have?
Yes, I would like to reply to Abby and to our wonderful speaker tonight. Oh, you found a good group. This group, this WiVLA, will give you many opportunities to collaborate, to go to literary readings, to go to other events, and you've joined a good group, and that is something I've appreciated all through my years in WiVLA. And this was an inspiring talk tonight, and I like the steady drumbeat of how you've been going through your life. You know, your footsteps are going and they're landing. And I really appreciate that.
I appreciate what you said. Thank you. Yes, and this is a very cool group. I can feel
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
I just
Well,
have to throw out that I'm a closet Hildegard of Bingen fan too.
Oh, yeah,
So
Totally.
radical,
Yes.
recovering Catholic, I'm with you.
Yes.
I feel like I'm the last person to learn about Hildegard. You know, I,
And years,
I,
yeah, years
uh,
ago at Rice University, I was an administrator over there. They held a complete evening of Hildegard's music and her readings. It was marvelous. And I remember one s- uh one reading from her begins with first stun a bat. She was coming up with some recipe,
Yeah.
to cure something, but you had to go stun a bat before you did it. But no, they were really into her too in the religion department and otherwise over there. I think it was the women's studies group who
mhm.
put on the performance. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a thing. She's a big deal.
Totally.
But I say better. It's also fun that I didn't know because now I get to learn. That's how I look.
Exactly. Now you get to learn it.
Yes, it's really fun. She very inspiring.
Mhm.
Well, I love that. I mean, when we think of protest, we think of carrying signs and being in a march or whatever, but it's so much, you pointed out in such a beautiful way that it's so much more than that, that it's a very personal thing, and that there's things in each one of us that we can protest either quietly to ourselves or out loud to other people. I'm going to take that to heart because there's things going on in my body that I don't want happening right now, and maybe that's going to be one of my loudest protests in the future. So, and this thing about bravery, I guess I was thinking of you, and it's like, I don't know if bravery is an issue for her. It seems like you're just compelled to do what you need to do. So that speaks loudly to me as well. So thank you.
It's my pleasure.
As predicted, Sarah, you fired us up in all the good ways.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Thank you, thank you. I will follow up and make sure that the workshop gets a shout out on social media from WiVLA. And I'm going to share the information to the WiVLA Facebook groups and make sure that everybody can see that info as well, and hopefully can come out and play with you, which is really the best, people. Strong recommendation.
Yes, I really hope you can come. And I also should add, if anyone would like to visit my studio, just email me. I spend a lot of time alone.
Mm.
My studio is in Rice Village. Kind of a funny location, but a great space.
Oh,
Come see me. I would love it.
Thank you, thank you. Susan, you are welcome to turn it over to member accomplishments if you'd like.
Yeah.
I love that round of applause, Kay. I'm gonna copy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. I think we all have gotten a lot from having you with us tonight. I don't want to miss anybody. If anybody has any final comments or questions that they'd like to ask.
I will give a quick reminder that if you're interested in the meet and greet, stay on this Zoom call. Do not leave the meeting because that will happen directly after. So.
Hang out.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to open it to the floor for anyone to talk about personal accomplishments or things that they want us to attend and celebrate with you. Let's hear about them.
I'm gonna kind of start this off. When about a year ago, I started a group where Ted and I are living now, and it's our first experience in communal living as adults. And it's our first experience forever, and I started a writing group, and it's been so incredible to see people open up. I mean, I'm so gratified. I can't even believe that, this has happened, and you give people resources and I just love it. And we meet every Wednesday at 2:00. And I think I've missed 5. I'll miss this week. But I'm just, so that's one of my accomplishments this year, is just to keep that going. And thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Anyone else? Oh, Margot has her hand up.
Yeah, the next edition of Equinox, the theme is liminal spaces. There will be a celebration of the publication at Wolfsmith's on Woodard, March the 27th at 7:30, and I will put something in the calendar. I just found out about it today.
Is that going to be on Zoom?
There's going to be one on Zoom. There'll be a Zoom meeting on Sunday, and then the in-person will be the following Friday.
Okay. Where?
Okay, the Friday night one will be at Wolfsmith's on Woodard.
Okay.
I'll put that in the calendar.
Thank you.
I see that Jamie has her hand up.
So as Catherine noted, I do have 2 pieces in the how my brain stopped working.
Audacity.
And on the synchronicity issue, Audacity. One of them is almost like a flip book, the way it's laid out. So I was very proud of that. And I also have 2 pieces coming up that'll be shown in the Equinox liminal spaces.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Bravo.
And Gladys, I'll be doing a presentation at Almond Bayou Nature Center off of Clear Lake Boulevard on April the 23rd. It's Thursday. April the 23rd from the program will start at 7, but we have refreshments from 6:30 to 7, and then 7 I'll be doing about an hour and 20-minute presentation. Of course, I'm going to talk about I will be doing poetry, and because it is National Poetry Month, but also I will be talking about how walking has will help build self-esteem and hopefully unleash some of the folks in the audience blocks, the emotional blocks about being out in the wild. So I'm going to talk about that. So please come out. It's going to be at Almond Valley Nature Center, which is off of 8500 Clear Lake Boulevard in southeast side of town. That's it.
Gladys. Kat.
So Synchronicity is switching from Audacity is the current issue that's open, but our call right now is something new. It's Expectations. So it's open for another month, closes on April 15th. Would love to see anything that you have, visual art, video, any writing. 4,000 words is kind of the upper limit on our longer pieces. Another thing that just happened tonight, I looked on my phone and I submitted 10 photos for the Photo Fest show This is America over at Hardy and Nance, and they took all 10 of them. So I'm gonna have a big bunch of things printed out on the wall. This is when it's a photocopy show, so they print them and hang them. So they don't sell. It's just a photo, just an exhibition.
Okay.
And so it's this Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's a long one. So I'm excited to have that there. I wasn't expecting all that.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Congratulations on that. Donna?
Yes. I'm an archway gallery artist, and so I wanted to bring your attention to the fact that we are now showing at Jung Center because it's part of our celebration of our 50th anniversary as a gallery. And like Joe Zider is there because we invited a number of people that had been past members. Even one of the women that sort of started, wrote the guidelines for what we're still basically using. Of course, that's a lot of time for things to change, but we're still basically using her plan. We will later have, the opening just happened on the show at the Jung Center, but we will have a show in April that'll be a big celebration too of the 50th year. And so want to let everybody to know about that. And I have 2 paintings in the Sabine Street Center area where there's a show. And that's it.
Well, that's a lot.
It is.
Thanks for letting us know about all that, Donna.
Thank you.
All right. I'm scrolling through our screens here to see if anybody else has a hand raised. Not seeing anyone, and am I missing anyone? All right.
Hello.
Oh, Joe. Hi, Joe.
Joe's waving.
I'm sorry. I have a very bad cold, so my voice. Just wanted to tell Sarah, I am a former teacher for 35 years, and I've always been involved with social injustice and cruelty, and I do all kinds of things. People know me as the bone lady, bone witch. I do installations with bones in protest to everything. And I just did Sunday a week ago, I did a little pop-up over at Rothko Chapel where it was called the Mending Circle. There's a bone. Anyway, I'm at the Jung Center right now with the Archway show. I have 7 pieces that are part of my new parasitic tendencies, which I call protest art. It's my way of making a statement. So if you have a chance, go see it. It was very well received at the opening Saturday night. I felt like a celebrity.
You were.
As well you should.
You are, Joe.
All right, and if anybody comes to see the show here at the Jung Center, the Archway Show, I'm just going to make a personal plea that you come Monday through Thursday between noon and 6 p.m. because that's when I'm here and I would get to say hello to you.
That sounds like a good idea to me. Always love to see you, Alyssa. All right. Anybody else? Before we let everybody go do what they're going to do for the rest of the evening, but don't leave if you're looking for a partner for our upcoming collaboration. A cat?
Kat, I've made you a co-host. I'm going to sign over hosting to you when I leave.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
And congratulations. Don't throw any parties.
I'll try.
And Susan, whenever you'd like to leave, you don't end the meeting, just leave the meeting.
I'm gonna hang in until the end and see
nice.
what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
Okay.
Y'all have fun.
Great to see everyone.
Thanks.
Sarah.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, folks.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks,
you all.
Sarah.
Thank you very much.